So for D, getting the instructions, motion tweens. We've been doing tweens. We've been doing classic tweens, which were like for the first 10 years of Flash's life. But then they introduced something else called motion tweens. And what motion tweens allowed you to do is move the item along in a different way with smooth curves and things like that. And so we're going to do two different things. We're going to use what's known as a classic tween with a guideline. And the guideline lets you draw a line with a pencil, and then the object will follow that line. That's pretty cool. And then we're going to do the motion tween. So they each kind of behave a little bit differently. Go ahead and do a file new. Wish that thing would go away. All righty. For those of y'all who aren't here on Tuesdays, I've been trying to record the lectures, and so far I've failed to get the Flash one, the animate ones going. But I'm going to succeed this. I'm going to succeed this time. So if you miss a day, then you'll be able to watch the lecture video and catch up. So file new. I greatly prefer if you choose ActionScript rather than Canvas, even though the book has you create canvases. Just keep toggling between the two. Click OK. Now, following our instructions, we're going to make sure that Snap to Objects is enabled. So that magnet needs to have a gray box around it. If it doesn't have a gray box around it, then Snap to Objects is not enabled. That'll help us out when we're trying to move things around. So draw something, anything, maybe a star. I'm going to choose the polygon tool. And to make it a star, I'm going to go over to Properties and choose Options from under Tool Settings, Properties, Options. I'm going to choose a star instead of a polygon. 5-sided star is good enough. And I'm going to draw a star. Color doesn't matter. Make it look as pretty as you want, or as plain. I'm going to make mine look pretty plain. Now go to frame 75 and insert a keyframe. Now I'm going out to 75 or thereabouts. Insert a keyframe. I did not draw my star in object mode. How can I tell that? Because it's full of dots. I've made a mistake. I'm going to undo until the star goes away. Not sure why object mode is not selected. Now when I draw the polygon tool, the ball in the box, the object drawing mode has to be selected as well, the magnet. Right now it's not. My magnet is selected, but the ball in the box isn't. So selecting that. Now I'm going to redraw my star. And when I draw it now, it's not going to be filled with dots because it's all one object, which is what I want. Okay, repeat my instructions. Go out to 75, right click, insert keyframe. So we need to move our graphics somewhere else. So select frame 75, put your playback head on 75 and move your star. It's down here next to the magnet, but you only see it when you actually have a drawing tool selected. And you could still be right. Let me come look. It was drawn without object mode. There it is, there it is. So draw it again with object mode selected. What is that? Okay, no problem. Choose hexagon, tool settings, options, pull down polygon. They made it unobvious as possible. Let me get back here. So we're going to go out to frame 75 and we're going to move our object. Just like we were going to do a classic tween. which in this case we are, but we're going to do it a little bit different so that it follows a curve. So I'm on frame 75. I've moved my shape. I can tell I've moved it because if I sweep my playback head, you know, if I scrub, that's the word, I see it move on the last frame. And we know what's going to happen next. We're going to put a tween on it, but also we're going to write, before we put the tween on it, we're going to right click on it and do Add Classic Motion Guide. So click layer 1, don't double click it, just click layer 1 and do Add Classic Motion Guide. Note what that does. Right there, we now have a something that says guide layer, and in layer 1 is our actual shape. But guide layer is what is going to control how it moves from one spot to the other. So sweep your playback head kind of back and forth to kind of memorize where it's going to start and where it's going to end, because then you're going to grab the pencil tool and draw a line from about where it begins to about where it ends. And then we'll adjust the star to accommodate that. So pencil tool, I don't trust the new paintbrush tool, so I'm going to use the pencil tool, draw a dot from here to about where I had it end. I don't remember where I had it in. When I drew it, it was kind of curved it. That's okay. You see this thing here next to the ball in the box that controls the pencil mode? Mine was in straighten. You can also do it in smooth or ink. So I could undo it and draw it with smooth selected. Might look a little bit better, whatever. Okay, I still had frame 1 selected when I did that. So I'm gonna go, and now with the black cursor, I'm gonna select the star. Now be careful and not select the edges because you wind up doing nonsense like that. Might need to zoom in to get a good grip on it, but grab the star and move it around, and you see that little circle in the middle of the star? Move that onto the edge of the thread that you just drew. Hopefully it'll snap into place since we have the magnet mode enabled. Once you get the star kind of anchored onto the beginning of the thread, move your playback head over to 75, grab the star again and put its circle on the end of the thread. And I guarantee that for one person, maybe two, it's not going to work. And we will have to delete it and redo it. And I don't know why it's so picky, but it has proven to be so. Okay, so that's great, but we don't have a tween on it yet, so it's just teleporting. So just like we've always done, right-click on layer 1 somewhere between the beginning and the end and do Create Classic Tween. And if I did it right, it'll follow the guideline. I shouldn't use the word right. If I'm lucky, that sounds bad too, it'll follow the guideline. You see that? That's pretty cool. Something that is kind of interesting to do, and I'm not sure I call it out in the instructions right there, is click on the tween somewhere, that blue line, and then choose Orient to Path. You know what, there's some new options here. Color along path and scale along path. That's new to the 2018 version of whatever we're using. But choose Orient to Path, and you'll watch the star kind of swivel as he moves, right? So if you were going to draw a car and he was going to be driving up and down hills, you'd kind of want it to do that. Oh, you had a question and I walked away from you. Sorry about that. So for the next part, click on the top layer, the guide, and then do a new layer, which will put our new layer above the guide layer, which is what we want. You certainly don't want it nested underneath the guide layer. So now I have a new layer called layer 3. Lock all your old layers, just for safety's sake. So lock the guide layer, lock layer 1. Click on the first frame of layer 3 because we know we're going to be drawing something there. And then draw something again. I've already done a star, so I'm just going to do an oval. I feel like changing his color, so I'm going to select him and then go over to the properties box, fill him with a different fill. There. Then turn that drawing into a symbol. Right click on whatever you drew. And choose create. Convert to symbol. So right click on him and do convert to symbol, which is near the bottom, 4th option up from the bottom. Doesn't really matter what you call it. I'm going to call mine ball because it's a red ball. Whatever. Now I have a ball. Choose your graphic again, right click on it and do create motion tween. So right click on the ball or whatever you drew and choose create motion tween. Now we don't see the change yet. So select the last frame of layer 3 and move your graphic to another place on the screen. Don't insert a keyframe this time. The magic of the motion tween is that we do this without a keyframe. So click the last frame of layer 3, move your shape somewhere. I'm just going to move it to the, I don't know, down here, whatever. And notice when I did that, it left a trailed line. That line is the path that my shape is going to take. So it created that motion guide for us, right? That's why this is easier. On the other hand, the motion guide is not quite as freeform and custom as it was, but we can mess with it. We could change it. And if we chose the white cursor, we could probably pick some dots out of it. I'm kind of messing it up. Forget it. Don't use the white cursor. I don't know what I'm doing there. All right. Now if I play it, it ought to work. It's giving me a hassle now. It's every time I select it, it's selecting the ball as well. I'm going to just live with that because I could always redo it if I needed to be. And so when I hit Command Return, my stuff's actually moving around. Now, what if you wanted to continue the ball's motion or the star's motion? I would create just a new layer that starts at frame 76 or 80 or whatever we had you do and go on from there. Now, that's not really the point of this exercise, but you could do that if you wanted to. I'll demo that. If I wanted the ball to keep moving, I'm going to lock layer 3, create a new layer, and then out on frame 75, I'm going to do insert keyframe. And I'm going fast over this because I'm not necessarily expecting you to do it. Then I would select the ball, copy it, lock that layer, select the new frame, paste it, in place, edit, paste in place, and now I have a new ball to play with on its own layer. And so I could do another motion tween with it at that point if I so chose. And like I said, I'm not expecting y'all to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and finish that one. And the ball disappeared. I'm not going to spend any time diagnosing why the ball disappeared. Probably because I pasted it on the wrong frame, but I don't think I did. Oh, there it is, way down here at the bottom. Okay, so if I put that where the other one ended, and then I did the create motion tween, moved it somewhere else. I could get it to do its thing. Not going to mess with it anymore. All right, everybody get the motion tween to work. So when you're done, save as, upload to Dropbox D. The next thing we're going to do is called shape tweening. And that's when a shape transforms. Right now, our things have just been moving, but it's been the same shape the whole time. So this is Dropbox F, the shape tweening assignment. And so you're going to close that file and create a new one. File, close, close all, whatever. File new, action script 3, click OK. Which one is this? This is assignment F. So I'm going to do a save as right away. File, save as, and just call it F shape tween. Hopefully I'm going to be changing recording software that doesn't keep the thing in the way the whole time. So anyways, save our document. Great, I have a new document to play with. Oh, if I dock it against the very top, it disappears. That's nice to know. What's next? Draw something. How about an oval? Let's draw an oval. I'm going to draw an oval. It's going to be red stroke with a fill of yellow and a stroke width of 10. So how do I control all those things? Well, I draw my oval to begin with, and then I select it with the cursor, black cursor, come over here to the properties. And under properties, you know, I can change its fill to yellow. I can change its stroke to red. And I can change the width of the stroke to 10. Or whatever makes a nice, thick, interesting shape to look at. All righty, now we're going to do something slightly different. We've always just been moving the shape and then putting a classic tween. That's not what we're going to do this time. So use the align window to center the oval exactly on the stage. All right, so where's my align window? Well, I don't even see it available to me. So I'm going to find it under the window menu. Under window, I should find align. Way down here, 3/4 of the way down the window menu. So I'm going to select the cursor. My align window went away. Thanks. Bring it back. And I want it right in the center. So how do I do that? I click Align to Stage, that checkbox right there. And I choose the middle of the horizontal lines right there and the middle of the vertical lines. Okay, now he's in the middle of the stage. And then I could dock this over here in the bar. Okay, that's what the align window is under. It looks like the little bar graph out to the side. Good to know. So now we're going to draw a star on a different frame. Let's go to frame 80 and do a blank keyframe. Why are we doing a blank keyframe? Because we want the circle to disappear. So I'm going to go to frame 80, right-click, blank keyframe. My circle disappears, but that's cool because I'm going to replace it with a star. And I'm going to align it, I'm pretty sure, straight to the middle, but I'm going to follow my instructions to the letter. You can change the colors of the stroke and the fill if you want. So if you want, you could grab your star and, I don't know, fill it full of purple paint. Give it a blue stroke. That's just for fun. But then align it to the middle again. So either choose window align or however you're finding the align menu now. Make sure it's going to stage. And there we go. So I have a shape that starts off as a circle. It disappears, and then it's replaced by a star as I sweep the playback head. Very good. Isn't it nice that I'm congratulating myself? I did a great job. All righty. Now we're going to apply a shape tween. So somewhere between the beginning and the end, right click, but instead of choosing classic tween, do shape tween. And then when you shuffle the playback head back and forth, look what it does. Now, is that the coolest thing since sliced bread? Well, maybe not, but you can make an oval, change to a circle if you wanted to. Or, you can mess with different kinds of shapes and see what they look like being tweened. The weirdest one is to shape tween text. Which is the next one. Raise your hand if you're not ready to do the text. If you're behind, that's cool. I'll come back there and help. Anybody need help? Well, that's no fun. Everybody's caught up? Alrighty. So let's make a new layer. And I'm just going to hide layer 1 to make sure I don't make any mistakes to it. Changes to it. Make a new layer. Select frame 1 of the new layer. Type some text. Oh, my instructions say rename layer 2 to text. So double click on the words layer 2. Rename it text. All well and good. Grab the text tool and type something. Animation is. Now I want to make the text bigger. Unfortunately, unlike Illustrator, I can't just grab the corner and stretch it out. Can I do that with the free transform tool? Let's find out. Yeah, cool. So animation is fun. That's what my text says. Before I do anything to it, I need to break it apart. So get it to look the way you want before you do the next step, because this is kind of irrevocable. Yeah, you could hit undo, but you do modify, break apart, and look what it does. It breaks it into the individual letters, which is cool, right? You can move the letters around. Don't do that because I'm going to undo those. But since we're going to do a shape tween, we want broken down even further into the component pixels. So with everything selected, all the letters selected, break it down one more time, break apart. Now, if you look, it's kind of got that pixel look. It's the individual letters, just like it had not been drawn in object mode. That's what we need. That's what we're going to be able to do our our tween on. Once you get some text, select frame 80 of that layer, insert a blank keyframe, and draw something else. It could be more text or it just could be a shape. I'm going to try. I shouldn't veer off from the script. So I'm going to type some more text and I'm going to put, I am awesome. With the black cursor, maybe I'll change the color of the text. With the free transform tool, I'm going to stretch it out. I'm going to try to put it in about the same place. I should probably center it, you know, but I'm not going to stick it right in the center because I already have some shapes there. But I'm going to align it to the horizontal center. And then on the bottom edge, I'm going to go back and do the same to the frame 1. I'm going to select him, align to the bottom edge, and center it. Whoops, that was a mistake. Undo, undo. All righty. I'm going to undo both of those things and just kind of move it by hand down to the bottom. Since it was broken apart, it really messed it up when I tried to move to center it. On the last frame, it's not broken apart yet, right? It's just all one block. So I'm going to take that text and break it apart twice. Modify, break apart, it turns into individual letters. Modify, break apart again. And there we go. It's all in its individual pixels. I hope. Then add your shape tween and check out how it looks when it plays. What if you wanted to give the user some time at the end to see your final product, your last word? You could just go and insert another keyframe somewhere out past the edge. You know, I'm going to go out to like 120 and add some frames, or keyframes, right there at the end, so that it hangs out for a while, right? It starts, it changes, and then it just chills for, you know, another couple of seconds. And I just did that by adding, you know, keyframes further out, like at 120 or something. So I'm going to test it out, hit Command, return. My star is changing shape and my text is changing as well. Then it's slightly cheesy. You wouldn't turn it in, you know, to a client with a shape tween like that, but it's just to kind of get you thinking. Good for our class. We don't mind cheesy stuff. You could try turning text, a circle into text, right? Start off with a circle and end with a text, something like that. What if we have it move? I'm going to make my ball move across the screen. So I'm going to unhide it, grab the ball, move it on one side, click the last frame, grab the star, move it to the other, and see if it tweens. Yeah, so as it moves, it also changes shape. It's kind of neat. Can we make it? No. Remember that trick of where if you selected an intermediate frame, you could grab the the object and move it up or down in order to give it a curved path as it would move along. Can't do that. Just because it's a different kind of tween. It's a shaped tween. So once you're happy with the way it looks, do a save, or a save as if you never saved it at the beginning. Publish it, which you can also always do just by hitting Command Return. And upload it to the Dropbox. In this case, I believe it'll be Dropbox F. All right, see you next time.